COVID-19 virus, authorities have been carrying out military-style operations across the capital, Kuala Lumpur. In the name of public health and safety, they've rounded up illegal foreign workers. When you look at these raids, you can't help but think, is this the practical reality of dealing with a pandemic, or is it racism?
We are treating them like an animal. This is not the way to treat a migrant worker. This is not the way to treat a human.
Bertindak zalim, tidak betul. Mereka tidak berhak untuk berada di negara kita kerana masuk secara haram.
101 East investigates why so many foreigners are being locked up in Malaysia's lockdown. Kuala Lumpur's migrant neighbourhoods are under siege. Any identified as areas with high infection rates have been locked in behind barbed wire and barricades. This is part of Malaysia's response to COVID-19. Across the city, people are being taken from their homes, fingerprinted, tested for the disease, and checked for valid documents. Those without them are swiftly taken away. It's only when the trucks leave that you realise what's going on. We're not allowed inside these fenced-off areas, but phone footage from local residents gives us a glimpse inside the crackdown. Shortly after one raid, I speak with two migrants from Bangladesh.
Kita bisa berbicara di sini?
One of them tells me he's afraid to leave his apartment because he doesn't have a valid work permit. He managed to avoid arrest by hiding.
We've been trying to get witness testimony from people, but as you can see, there's police there. We can't get through the wire. I've got my ID. Look, this is my ID. I'm from the press. Again.
This is lockdown area. No camera, please.
But we're within our rights to report from here.
Oh, yeah. But this lockdown area, off your camera, please.
To avoid the authorities, we meet another migrant worker caught up in the raids at an underground car park. Fearing reprisals from Malaysia's government, the Pakistani man only agrees to speak with us anonymously. He was arrested with his wife and two children.
They are just shouting on us. Just sit down, just get lost, keep quiet. And we silent. We have no words to say and we don't have a right to ask any question from them.
The man was a policeman in Pakistan and says the Malaysian authorities were out of line.
Some of the officers are very angry there and they keep the mobile and they're putting on the head like this, like this.
He says his whole family, including his son and daughter, were handcuffed and chained together with other children and the elderly under the hot sun. They were only released hours later after authorities verified their documents.
My daughter is still scared. She stopped laughing. She said, maybe they come again. Even we have a valid documentation. They are not respecting us as a human. I learn here. Foreigners have a value just like a dog only.
Malaysia's economy depends on 2.2 million migrant workers, but it's estimated another 4 million are here illegally, taking the dirty, dangerous jobs few locals want. They are often trafficked by agencies who exploit and trap them in a cycle of debt. Soon after the pandemic was declared, Malaysia's Defence Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob offered them amnesty so they would come forward and be tested for the virus.
kita tidak fokus kepada dokumen perjalanan mereka, tetapi kita fokus kepada sama ada mereka ini bersih daripada COVID-19 ataupun positif dan sebagainya. Kita hanya ingin membuat saringan dan selepas itu mungkin paling ekstrim pun adalah kuarantin yang akan dilaksanakan. Itu saja.
Malaysia's migrants say that promise now feels like a brutal betrayal. Raihan Kabir lives in Chow Kit, a district known for its bazaars and curry houses. The Bangladeshi migrant shows me footage of what happened here after the area was locked down behind razor wire. Raihan says when he heard a knock on his apartment door, he thought it was government workers coming to test for COVID-19 or deliver aid. Instead, over the next few days, almost 600 residents were rounded up, put in trucks and taken away.
They make a trap for us. They give food, they give medication, all things they give. So no one expecting they were going to arrest the people. They are not murderer, they are not criminal. They are just undocumented.
Raihan has a valid work permit, but his friend's visa had expired. Ridoy was swiftly taken away by immigration officials.
He also has been arrested in this time. That was not his fault. His company never renewed his visa. He was arrested. You know, I run the immigration, I run the police station. I cry in the gate, please let me meet my friend.
Down the road, Raihan and I meet Forhad Chowdhury, another Bangladeshi detained in the raids. He's been working in Malaysia for over 20 years, first in construction and hotels. Then he started his own business selling fabric. But his visa expired during the lockdown, when it was impossible to renew it. Forhad says if the authorities' aim is to contain the virus, cramming people together in immigration trucks is counterproductive.
তাদেরকে একটা লাইন করা যাচ্ছে লাইন ধরায় গন্যা দেখছে 30 জন লোক হইলে সবার বলতেছে এক এক ওটা রাখে তো এখন তো সবাই আতঙ্কের মধ্যে কোনো যেতে পারবে না কোনো লোক সবাই আস্তে আস্তে গিয়ে অবস্থা ছিল
Forhad has since discovered that 3 people from the raided buildings have tested positive for COVID-19. He fears they could have infected him and many others.
এই সময় তো হইছে একজন সাথে ধাক্কা লাগলো আমরা চাইছি যেতে না ধাক্কা লাগিয়া থাকতে পারি তারপরে তো লোকজন বেশি এইজন্য ধাক্কা লাগবে একজন সাথে আরেকজন লেগে গেছে
Forhad's story makes Raihan fear for his friend's health. He hasn't heard from Ridoy since his arrest. Today, Raihan is meeting Sumitha Shantini Krishna, a human rights lawyer who specialises in helping migrant workers.
So when did he become undocumented?
It's about last year. His company got bankrupt.
Okay, his company got bankrupt.
Then boss also hiding. His visa cannot renew. He cannot go back to Bangladesh because he have the loan, money, everything. So he became undocumented.
Okay, did he attempt to go to the Labour Department to file a case against his employer?
Miss, the thing is, the people like them who are worker here, labor here, how they know the things? They don't know. So is there any way, just I want to meet my friend, is there any way?
So there is no visitation to any of the detention centres. It's not only for foreign nationals, even the lawyers cannot go into the detention centres to see their clients because it's all closed for now.
There's little he can do to help Ridoy. But Raihan drives to the detention centre anyway, hoping to at least catch a glimpse of his friend. He can't call Ridoy to see if he's okay, because detainees aren't allowed phones.
When I come here, I become emotional. It's unbearable for me. I cannot meet him. I don't know he is eating or not. I cannot give him the food. I'm very much worried about him.
Raihan came to Malaysia 6 years ago to study and now works in marketing. He says he loves his job and living here. But this crackdown has changed the way Raihan sees the nation and made him think about leaving.
This is a clear act of racism. That's the thing. A clear act of humiliating people. So that's why I feel scared about the future of the migrant people. I don't think that the people will give their trust again for the government because they will afraid.
Detention centres have now become hotspots for COVID-19, with more than 700 reported cases. Rights advocates say the recent influx of migrants into these already crowded facilities has created perfect conditions for the virus to spread. But Malaysia's Defence Minister rejects the criticism.
Kita selamatkan mereka, tempatkan di tempat yang terbaik untuk menjaga kesihatan mereka. Jadi, kalau nak kata kerajaan Malaysia tidak berperi kemanusiaan kepada parti ini juga tidak betul. Kalau berlaku peningkatan, kita dah ada...
Only state media were allowed into government press conferences. Several requests to interview the senior minister, home minister and his deputies were declined.
Walaupun kita layan mereka, tetapi status mereka terus kekal parti. Dan mereka tidak berhak untuk berada di negara kita kerana masuk secara haram. Jadi bukan kata kita ambil kesempatan serbu mereka di PKPD, tangkap mereka. Tidak berlaku seperti itu.
Frontline health workers say the raids are creating fear and mistrust amongst vulnerable populations, making it harder to contain the spread of coronavirus.
Okey, kerja apa namamu? Potong rumput, mesin rumput.
Ya, mesin rumput.
At this health clinic, foreigners queue to be tested for COVID-19. But the line used to be much longer.
Okay, pakai balik mask.
Okey, thank you.
Okay, boleh balik.
Since the raids began, there's been less demand for free testing.
They may be apprehensive about coming forward because of the possibility of them being exposed, and then the possibility of perhaps being apprehended by the authorities for being undocumented.
Dr. Ahmed Faisal Padaus is the president of Mercy Malaysia, which runs these health programs for migrants and refugees.
There definitely would be extra pressure now for those who are undocumented, pressure on them to decide whether they should come out for testing or not.
Does that make your job harder?
Well, it makes our job a bit more complicated, I will say. If there is someone or a group of people who turn out to be positive later and we've missed them, and then they go on to infect others, and then create another cluster or two, which then will create further problems.
Malaysia's COVID-19 response has successfully contained the initial spread of the virus. But Dr. Padaus says foreigners have been unfairly blamed in the crisis.
One of the impacts of COVID-19, it brings out the best in us, in humankind, frontline workers, etc., and people giving to charity, etc. On the other hand, it has brought out also xenophobia and racism. Malaysia is not accepted in this, and they take the opportunity, of course, to then use social media, especially to take out their prejudices and their racism on very vulnerable people.
The biggest wholesale food market operates from early morning till late at night. But a COVID-19 outbreak brought trade to an abrupt halt here for several days. Now, business is back, but with one big change. Migrants who have long kept these market stalls running can no longer work here.
Matlamat kami adalah untuk bagi memastikan iaitu pasar borong dipenuhi oleh warga tempatan iaitu untuk menjalankan perniagaan di sini atau pekerjaan di sini. So jadi kat sini kita nampak benda ni dapat dilaksanakan lah. Andai kata dengan cara kita cuba yang terbaik agar ianya boleh iaitu direalisasikan.
Muhammad Pandu Insani bin Yahya runs the local Traders Association. He says hiring only locals will make market safer.
Apabila berlakunya jangkitan terhadap mereka, rata-rata di kalangan mereka tidak akan pergi ke hospital kerana takut ditangkap. atau takut dihantar pulang jika tiada dokumen yang sah. Dan dari segi dia punya kebersihan pula kita pun tahu mereka dengan cara hidup yang berbeza dengan masyarakat setempat. Okey, the local culture kat sini dengan tempat mereka. Jadi memang perbezaan itu ketara dengan cara diorang makan makanan sirih dan sebagainya dalam ludah split rata-rata kan. Itu membuatkan kawasan sekitar ni nampak macam lain daripada yang lain lah. Dia tak sama macam tempatan sekarang. Macam sekarang ni awak boleh lihat kawasan sekitar ni agak tenang dan aman.
How is this a fair program?
Okay, saya berpendapat program yang kita laksanakan ni tiada kaitan langsung dengan iaitu perkauman dan juga iaitu untuk mengenepikan mana-mana pihak. Contohnya dari segi warga asing dan sebagainya. Apa yang ditanggap oleh setengah-setengah pihak bahawasanya ada berkaitan dengan perkauman dan juga cuba diskriminasi untuk lain-lain bangsa dan sebagainya, tiada.
Muhammad ran a recruitment drive to replace the foreign workers with locals. 500 Malaysians applied for just 60 positions. This man was one of the successful applicants.
So, macam mana kerja sekarang? Okey. Alhamdulillah bang, jom. Start buat apa? Dah daripada pukul 7 pagi. Kau boleh bertahan kerja lah? Boleh. Saya pastikan bahawa tempat ni.
But not everyone is happy. Stallholders complained that their new employees can't handle the long hours and manual labour involved. Some have already quit, leaving them understaffed.
Tak dinafikan, bukan semua tahan untuk bekerja di sektor berat seperti ini. Namun, saya percaya hanya segelintir saja yang cakap yang tak tahan ataupun ramai di luar sana yang boleh buat kerja sini.
The removal of foreign workers from the market and from their neighbourhoods ignited social media. Photos and videos of the raids were cheered online. And anti-immigration Facebook groups have been telling illegal migrants to go home. Muhammad thinks Malaysia should not allow so many foreign workers.
Kita memberi ruang terlampau besar untuk asing, yang mana dah berdemonstrasi di sini. Dia memberi kesan yang sangat negatif. Mungkin dia akan masa yang panjang. Kita tak ada masalah untuk hidup bersama dengan mereka. Namun setiap perkara mesti ada perbatasan.
When the lockdown began, Kuala Lumpur became shuttered and silent. Foreigners were the first to be stood down from construction sites, shops, office blocks and factories.
Kami bisa membantu cuci toilet, macam membuat bangunan yang tidak bisa rakyat Malaysia buat.
Ruhima moved to Malaysia 4 years ago from Indonesia, so she could provide for her family back home.
Dekat kampung saya cuma pekerjaan petani. Jadi saya mau cari uang sedikit lebih, saya pergi ke Malaysia.
She found a cleaning job at a restaurant, but her Malaysian employer didn't want to apply and pay for a visa on her behalf.
Susahlah, kami faham sebab kami yang duduk di Malaysia ni kami salah, tidak buat permit. Jadi kami faham kalau kita yang salah.
Before the pandemic, she was earning $9 a day. Now she earns nothing.
Sedihlah, satu keluarga semua rasanya setiap hari menangis. Tak boleh kirim kampung dengan mak bapak kita sebab saya pun ada anak dekat kampung, kami tidak boleh kirim duit. Suami saya dia kerja kontrak buat rumah, tapi dikarenakan tidak boleh bekerja, saya punya suami juga tak dapat duit lah, dia cuti. Jadi kita tidak punya penghasilan.
With her meagre savings depleted, Ruhima is now one of the many thousands of migrants starving across the city. All the people in her housing block are also out of work. She lives in this cramped space with 9 others.
Hanya bisa berdoa semoga wabak COVID-19 cepat berlalu. Semoga negara kita cepat pulih kembali seperti biasa. Anak pun kita sangat susah.
Some days, Ruhima's 6-month-old baby goes hungry.
Untuk kehidupan hari-harinya memang kita susah, sedih. Kita kena bayar rumah kami dengan api air 600. kita belum bayar total disebabkan kami tidak mampu membayar.
Kamu khawatir sedikit mengenai masa depanmu?
Kami sedikit risau, takut wabak COVID-19 tidak cepat pulih. Kami memang risau, takut semakin lama kita tidak boleh bekerja, semakin lama kita hidup susah dekat sini.
But this Malaysian is determined to help the desperate like Ruhima. Alex Ong runs the NGO Migrant Care. At a supermarket, his workers fill their trucks to the brim with rice, eggs and cooking oil.
Now they change the location again. Oh, I want to send to the home. You want to send to the food court.
It's a difficult logistical operation, but a vital one. Alex's team delivers across the city, feeding migrant workers who lost their jobs during the crisis.
Well, they are human beings too, yeah. At this moment, they are actually desperate for food. They are not asking for anything more. So for them, it's to survive first.
This is one of 8 deliveries the team will make today. More than 200 migrants will now get to eat.
Bukan jaga jarak, jangan kumpul satu tempat, ke belakang. When people are desperate, they cannot think about the social distancing. They are afraid that their portion of food is taken up by the other. But that is quite natural.
After studying in Indonesia and seeing its workers exploited in other countries, Alex founded the NGO with fellow activists in 2002. They have never been busier.
We received some donation from the Good Samaritan, and of course the majority of the fund come from my personal saving.
So you're doing this out of the goodwill of your own heart?
A lot, yes.
Alex does his best to allocate aid to the most needy. Today, he's visiting Indonesian migrant Wendy Saputra. She lives at a squatter settlement near the river. Wendy has a work permit, but lost her job as a cleaner at a car showroom during the pandemic. When work dried up here, her Nepalese husband returned home to try and earn money. So now it's just Wendy and her son left in Kuala Lumpur. Barely surviving on fish their neighbours catch in the nearby polluted river, Wendy's community desperately needs help.
Tapi saya nak menangis siapa lagi Pak Alex. Hanya Pak Alex saja yang boleh tolong bantu kita. Kita pun banyak terima kasih sekali dengan Pak Alex.
Ya, kita sama-sama lah. Itu kan semuanya itu keberkatan dari Tuhan ya. Kita ada sedikit tambahan, kita kasih lebih sedikit gitu.
The aid he's given her will last for 2 months, but the future's uncertain. Wendy doesn't know when she can work again and is contemplating leaving Malaysia.
Mana boleh balik ini?
Bulan 5 ini saya mau balik kampung, tapi keadaan macam ini jadi tak jadi balik kampung, balik Indonesia. Kita bertahan dekat sini juga.
With travel restrictions in place, she's stuck for now. Like many migrants, she'll have to wait it out.
Apakah ibu putus asa?
Nak putus asa nak buat apa? Sebab kita pun tak tahu nak putus asa tu nak buat apa, tak putus asa pun buat apa. Jadi kita hanya berusaha untuk boleh berusaha, kita berusaha.
As demand for food increases, Alex's team work around the clock.
We can go up to as high as 18 hours a day. And then sometimes we just sleep, wake up in front of the computer. We have already breached 2,300 migrants that we reach out to, and we have 135 babies receiving our meal aids. So the number is still growing. It's actually like become more stressful, and with the limited human resources we have, many of us are actually burning out.
It's draining, but Alex says Malaysia owes migrant workers who've helped build this country. Instead of exploiting them, locking them up or ignoring their plight, he wants Malaysians to recognise them as a vital part of the community.
They are the silent contributor to our economy. We have to overcome the xenophobia situation among the community here. What I would say is actually a lot of people like to pinpointing the government should be responsible, employers should be responsible. The way I look at it is actually is our whole community itself has to be accountable because we are living in the community.
Malaysia is now preparing to deport thousands of undocumented workers arrested in the raids. But critics say this crackdown ignores some of the root causes driving the spread of the virus, poverty and exploitation. The government is banning employers from hiring migrant workers until the end of the year. In a nation that struggles with race relations,